Hey gamers, this is a compilation video of the non-gaming reviews I have done on the channel so far. Yesterday I did a big compilation that was 3 hours long of the gaming reviews I've done, so it made sense to do this one soon after. Timestamps will be in the description as always if you want to skip to a particular section. But yeah, let's just get right into the video, shall we? We're gonna be looking at some autism memes. This is actually a video I've been planning to do for a while now, since I started making these discussion videos. I got my inspiration from Indie Andy, who sadly passed away last year, like at Christmas time. But he was an autistic person who I watched a lot of his videos, especially his autism meme videos, and I kind of want to continue from his tradition. So yeah, and plus I just figured it was time to lighten up the mood with these autism videos, you know, because the last one was about sexuality, which wasn't too bad, but digging into some personal stuff, and the other one before that was about suicide. So yeah, I think it's time to lighten up a little bit with these autism videos. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So we're going to start with a meme that is part of the thumbnail. Some of these memes I got from the autism meme subreddit. Some I found on Google. Me asking my dad how I got 100% on the autism test, even though I didn't practice for it, because you are the special. I really like this one. It's very simple. But I mean, not every meme has to be in depth, you know. Not to have a lot of hidden meanings, you know. Very simple. This is one of the memes I saw my mom like a month ago, and she liked it. Okay, so here's one I got from that subreddit. I have two sides. I'm so lonely, I want more friends. I effing hate other people. This is very relatable for me and a lot of other autistic people. Of course, not every autistic person is the same, you know, we all have different experiences and such, but many of us do feel this way, where we feel really lonely. We want to make friends, we want to interact with more people, but we at the same time we don't like other people. This could be for multiple reasons. One, lots of people mistreat us, you know. Two, trusting can be very hard. And another one is just the fact that it takes a lot of effort to keep those friendships. So I totally understand. Yeah, I'm very like this too, which is why I rarely had any friends in my life. So here's another one for the subreddit. Me, what I do. Mom, you know what you did. My autistic, but wondering what the hell I did. This one is very, very true as well. Either with my mom or in school or friends, the very few I had, people would tell me, like, what did you do? And sometimes I knew what I did. Usually because that happens is because there's like some sort of argument and I'm clearly in the wrong, or sometimes they're in the wrong, or we're both in the wrong, whatever. But other times, which is the other half, I have no idea what happened. I think when this does happen is usually when I say something that I guess seems sarcastic or not sincere. Like I say, oh, good job. But with my monotone voice, it sounds like I'm being like sarcastic or something. So I totally relate to this. Not a lot with my mom, but with other people for sure. This is another classic one. I saw my mom the same meal for the 999th time. My autistic butt. Yeah, we autistic people, many of us love eating the same food day in and day out. My brother finds it very weird. He thinks it's crazy that I like to eat the same things basically, which it usually changes. Like about a few months ago, I was really into why I call it Popeye chicken. It's like the chicken like from Popeye, but like the store brand or whatever. I like eating that with like a cheeseburger or like a chimichanga. Nowadays I like chimichangas, cheeseburgers, but also chicken fries, and I don't like that Popeye chicken anymore. Whatever it's called, the like Walmart branded one, whatever. And then also chicken burgers. So yeah, I eat basically the same like 3-4 things like for like a day, and then I switch it up slightly, but basically keep the same things. And My brother doesn't like it, but he likes to eat. He's very picky. He likes to eat different things or whatever. But I'm happy with just eating the same thing. It's very comforting. This is another pretty classic one. I've seen quite a bit. Saying mild autism implies the existence of spicy autism and flaming hot autism. Yeah, I don't really like the term mild autism a lot. You're autistic, that's what it means. I think when they mean that, it means that they don't usually, I think it's not a diagnosis. I think some people say that about themselves or to other people, trying to imply like, oh, they're not, you know, they don't need a lot of needs, you know, they can function a decent bit in society. But I don't really like the term mild autism. In fact, YouTube comments when they were in my live chat, I won't mention his name, but he has an autistic son and he watches my stuff, but he said he had mild autism too, and like himself, and I was just like, okay. Again, no offense to him or like whoever uses this term. I don't mind too much, but I just personally think that it's just autism, you know. I don't want to think of it as any different, you know. But yeah, at least this livens up the mood, you know. Spicy autism and flaming hot autism. There's another one from the subreddit. The two kinds of autistic people when it comes to hugs, and it's Baymax and Hero, which actually had that movie playing in the background like an hour ago. So yeah, forgot how much I liked the movie. But anyway, yeah, very true. With me, I'm definitely Hero in the case. I don't like hugs. I feel bad because I know, especially with my grandma, she loves hugs, and I feel bad when I don't give her a hug. I try to force myself to, and then when my mom is like sad or something, I give her a hug. But it's just very hard for me. And then of course when I had a crush on this girl in middle school, one of the things was like, oh, casually hug her to like interact with, like touch or whatever, so she gets you to like yourself, or like, I don't know, I watched a lot of those videos, but it was very hard for me to do. So yeah, though at the same time, strangely enough, I am actually like Baymax with my brother, who doesn't like hugs. Well, he likes hugs, but he doesn't like them from me. So yeah, I'm actually like that with my brother. He's the only one I'm like that. Don't know why. I guess because I saw him grow up. He, again, was a premature kid, like 6 months old. So yeah, I prayed for him to get better and all that stuff. So I guess because I have a special connection with him, even though he doesn't think of it that way. So here's one. Now, I saw this on the subreddit, but I just downloaded the picture itself. I actually didn't understand how to download the picture itself or the things surrounding it. So I am very stupid. But basically the comment that was on top of this that was like, oh, I thought when I was younger I needed to be like Albert Einstein or something. And this guy says, I need to be good at something or else I'll never be worthy of love. And lots of people in the replies to this were saying how they felt the same way too. And that feels sad. I kind of felt like this too. Like, not so much like this exactly, but I was like, oh, I gotta do this, like be a scientist for this and this reason, you know. Not necessarily exactly because of this, but I did kind of get that sense when I was younger. Nowadays, I don't want to do a scientist. It's too hard. I would rather have to do something with video games, you know, i.e. what I'm doing with this channel for the most part, besides these occasional autism videos. But yeah, I definitely relate to this on some extent. Now here's one that's it's one of these headcanons of people that think some characters are autistic, which I totally love, you know. Headcanons don't hurt anyone as long as you don't force them on anyone. You can believe anyone you want is autistic, you know. It's totally fine by me. Again, just don't force your opinions or whatever. Say, no, this guy is clearly autistic, this girl is clearly autistic, and if you don't believe that, you're stupid. No. So here's Ariel, where people saying that I sold my voice for a boy. Like, I'm not an autistic coded character who has a special interest in humans. Got constantly gaslit by nearly all the possible parental figure in my life, but still find love while nonverbal because a boy not only didn't mind me being a little different, but it could like me for it. Yeah. I like Little Mermaid. It's not one of my favorite like Disney movies of all time. You know, I prefer other Disney stuff. You know, and I don't even watch movies that much anymore. But I do like this one, and I did to some extent relate to Ariel, but I'm more so related to Lilo and Lilo and Stitch, and I didn't understand why. And to my surprise, many people think she's autistic, and I kind of agree. So here's a SpongeBob one, which also some people think he's autistic too. But yeah, me trying to understand social cues, was that the signal? Yeah, very simple one as well, just like the first one. But again, very relatable, you know. I remember watching lots of videos on specifically about girls, you know, and like, oh, do they like me or whatever, and like, okay, this is the social cue. But even just like other social cues, you know, I was like, okay, is that it? Is that it? Okay, let me go from there, I guess. It was like one of the very first ones I saw on like Google. My autism constantly chasing society, just crashing into you. Yes, change is very hard for many of us autistic people. We don't like it that much because we like things to stay the same, stay organized. We like to be on top of things if we can. So when something radically changes our plans or something changes in our lives, yeah, we don't really like it that much. There's another one from the subreddit. Anti-vaxxers, vaccines cause autism. Me, who already has autism, it's even funnier the second time. Of course, this is playing off the joke about how, again, many anti-vaxxers think that vaccines cause autism, which is not true at all, but those people are just stupid. And lots of autistic people like to make jokes about how they level up when they get a vaccine. They level up their autism, you know. And some people even play this off like with the levels, like level 1, level 2, level 3 of the autism diagnosis thing. Some people like to play it off like with that as well, like, oh, I leveled up to level 2. So yeah, it's just a funny joke from at the expense of those anti-vaxxers that are clearly wrong. And then here's one that I actually really liked. This is apparently from an actual news report about how a hiker was lost for 24 hours, ignored calls from rescuers because of unknown number. Please just text me. Yeah, I would do the same. I don't like unknown numbers. Heck, I don't even like when family members or the very few friends I had called me. I kind of just ignored them. Even text messages is hard, but at least I can deal with that to some extent. I don't like text messages, but phone calls are like the worst. I don't like it when my mom calls me. I don't like calling people. Yeah, it's just very hard. I know you have to answer, and I do usually for like, you know, my mom or whatever, but yeah, it's just very hard. So I can definitely relate to this, and I would probably do the same if I was a hiker. This is another one about eating the same food, me eating the same thing every day. The list is some good effing food. Just another one like the 999 meal, you know. Again, many autistic people like eating the same thing because it's comforting. So. And here's one from Penguin to Madagascar, which I really like that show. I wish it was more appreciated, along with the Madagascar series. I recently rewatched like most of Madagascar 3, and I really like that movie. Very underrated. But anyway, when you try to say something genuine but realize you come across as sarcastic, this is what I was saying earlier about how like monotone voice, like when I say something like, oh, good job, it kind of seems maybe like I don't mean it. Yeah, because again, I've been told many times by many people, both in person and in the internet, that, oh, I have a monotone voice. Oh, can you try to have more energy, like when I'm doing vocal covers? But I'm like, I'm putting my energy as hard as I can. I try to do more effort, but like, yeah. So this one is pretty relatable. Another one from the subreddit. The sentence in my mind, literally the same sentence when I tried to say it out loud. That's very true. I know for me, and I'm sure other autistic people as well, I try to prepare what I say to someone in my mind. I remember doing this a lot again, when I had a crush or whatever, I would think about things. Okay, I'm gonna say this. But even when I don't have a crush, when I'm just like talking to, like, you know, again, my mom or family members or whoever, I like try to think of something, or even in streams, I try to think of something and then I say it, and then I say it super wrong, super stupid, and I instantly regret it. Oh my god. Which is why I'm glad for videos, I can just edit out my stuff that I cannot say right. And here's one I really like, because oh my god, this is like probably my most relatable meme. I think this is also I believe this is the second to last meme for today's video, but my brain when someone asks me a normal question, movie quotes, song lyrics, childhood trauma, random facts, the answers I wanted to give, weird theories about the world, jokes that don't land, narrow divergent interests, that's what she said. Oh my god, this is very relatable. I experienced this with my brother a whole bunch, or like just in life in general. I like absorb like things I see on the internet, like memes or phrases, you know. Like if you see my streams, you know, I constantly say stuff like for real, no cap on God, you know. And I can definitely relate to this. I also say like wowie zowie from the Mario Wonder, what Mario says in that and everyone in that game says. And like I just have to like realize like no, I have to think about what they're actually asking, and then like try to say it. But just in my normal life, I just say those things because I just consume, and then like it's just very funny. I find this one really relatable. Now we got the last meme for today's video, which is a very simple one. Me when I think I'm smiling and you're not smiling. Yeah, this one is so relatable. Again, I've said this in this video and other times in other videos, but yeah, family, friends, or whoever, they think that I am not smiling, I am very serious, I mean something. When I'm not, I'm joking. Every time I smile, I'm like this. Now, to me, that looks like I'm smiling, but I guess to most people, they think that I'm have like a serious face, like with this. So I have to like try really hard to know that, oh, I'm happy. So I still don't even know, is that good? I don't know. So yeah, very relatable. Again, I've been told by my mom many times, and people at school like, why are you so serious? Well, that's just my default expression. I'm gonna be doing kind of a review on Mr. Monk's Last Case, a Monk movie. Now, in case you don't know what Monk is, it's a very good show about a OCD detective solving cases, but ultimately he's trying to solve the case of his wife who died in a car bomb explosion. And this movie aims to be kind of like an epilogue / final thing for Monk. You know, Monk series ended off pretty good, I say, but this movie really did feel like a conclusion, just to get that out of the way. And I really related to Monk a whole bunch, the character and the show. My mom introduced me to the show because she watched it with my dad. I believe they didn't watch that much of it, but she still liked it. But we binged like the whole series multiple times. I relate so much to Adrian and his struggles, you know. It's really relatable. He was the first person I found relatable in any show I've ever seen. That's why it was a big shock to me to find out this movie was a thing. I actually didn't even know about it until literally as of me recording this video a few hours ago. Because, funny story, as of me recording this video, I did a live stream where I was playing Splatoon 3, did that challenge, Oh My Gorse. I talked about in that stream that I had to finish watching a DGR stream. He's a Mario Maker YouTuber, and he did a stream where he's playing Mario Maker 1, and I promise this is related, so hold on for a second. But he got a question about halfway through the stream, hey, are you excited for the Monk movie? And then Dave responded with, oh, I actually haven't seen Monk. Oh, I've seen a few episodes, but yeah. But then when he said that and he responded to that comment, I was like, wait, what? A Monk movie? Because I'm like a big Monk fan, and I even used to follow the subreddit, but for some reason they like unfollowed me from the subreddit for some stupid reason. And this was announced, this Monk movie was announced on October 9th, I believe, at least around the time of Tony Shalhoub's birthday, you know, the actor that plays Monk, for his 70th birthday, you know, that it was be coming out today, December 8th. And when I found out about it, I was hyped. I watched the trailer immediately. I showed my mom, but then we found out it was on Peacock only, and we were sad for a little bit. But then my brother, thank God, bless his heart, thank you, Rocky. He actually had a Peacock account, which is crazy. He was actually paying for it. We always wonder what he's doing with his money. He pays for like iCloud and I guess now Peacock, now we know. Yeah, we found out about that, and then we just decided to watch the movie basically immediately. We were gonna wait till tomorrow, Saturday, but we said, why the heck not? Let's just watch it now. And we got some popcorn, and we loved the movie so much. I even cried a lot. God, this movie was really good. It was about 90 minutes, though it's actually 7 minutes longer than that. Besides the first ad at the beginning, there were no ads at all for the rest of the movie, which was really good. I thought it was, because you know, you never know, my brother's paying for the cheapest option. Before Peacock was free, but now he's paying for the cheapest option, which still gets ads, but we didn't get any ads besides the very beginning, which was like 3 minutes of ads. But yeah, like this movie was something I wasn't expecting at all, because I literally didn't even know it existed. But once I heard about it, I was so hyped, because again, we watched the Monk series so many times, like front to back, you know, and we loved it so much. And to see that their adventures, Monk and the gang, are continuing, it was crazy to me. And it was just so good to see, you know, Adrian, Natalie, Randy, the captain, all there again. But God, this movie made me cry a whole bunch. Monk itself makes me cry a lot, because it's truly his wife, you know. He has conversations with her, even though she's dead, you know, a ghost spirit thing. And he talks to her a lot in this movie, because he is planning to kill himself. And I've talked about suicide before on the channel. I don't personally feel that way, but I can totally understand the viewpoint of someone like that, and it really hurt me, because God, because a character I relate to, I can understand where he's coming from, you know? Even though he has so much to live for. Again, he's a great detective. He solved 140 cases. He also has his like stepdaughter, who was actually Trudy's daughter, but not his. It's a whole thing in the series. You should totally watch Monk, by the way, and this movie. But yeah, but he has a lot to live for, but he still thinks that he should be with Trudy, and that's sad, you know? But the reason he comes out, he was in retirement, and the reason he comes out of it in the first place is because of his stepdaughter or whatever. Her fiance gets killed, and he needs to investigate that. And even though he was still doing that, he still wanted to die, and I felt so sad for him, you know? But this really hit me at the end, where he was about to do it after he solved the case. He was still about to kill himself, but Trudy talk to him, like say that, you know, I'm not alone, you know. Then the fiance of his stepdaughter appears, and then a lot of other people that from other cases that he solved in the series. I recognize like 2 of them, though it's been a little while since I've seen Monk. You know, I've watched it like many times, but it's been like what, maybe like 2 years, or at least 1.5 years since I fully seen an episode of the series. But yeah, but still, it was so cool to see those familiar characters that even if you didn't know them, like I didn't remember most of them, it still left a big impact because there were so many characters there that reminded Monk that, you know, he helped a lot of people find closure. God, I really love this movie a lot, and I love the series a whole bunch. I am happy they made this movie, you know. It kind of does suck. It's on Peacock, not because, oh, it's a streaming service, you have to pay for it. Well, yeah, that's bad because we're cheap mother freaking people. But it used to be free. I remember Peacock used to be free with ads. You could pay to remove ads, I'm pretty sure, but like they're charging, I don't know when this happened, but I'm just gonna say that they're charging because of the Monk movie. That's why they're charging money. That's probably not true, that's probably misinformation, but I don't care. But I still think it's worth watching, you know. Pay the 1 month, that's like $6 a month, and watch this movie. Heck, even watch the whole series, binge it all. People love binge watching stuff. I can never do it though. I hate the concept of it, but people love binge watching, you know. And I recommend Monk. It is a fantastic show that will make you laugh, make you cry, make you feel a whole bunch of different things. And this movie is no different, you know. It felt like yes, the characters got aged up because, you know, the real life actors got aged up, you know, but they still look pretty young. Like, you know, Adrian still looked pretty young, even though he was clearly older. Dr. Bell, Natalie, Randy, the captain, they did look older, but like at the same time, they looked pretty similar. And it was like, it didn't skip a beat, you know. It's like the movie, like it didn't feel like, you know, sometimes other revival movies or other revival shows, they kind of like take a while to like get back with its audience, you know. I believe I've heard this from iCarly. If in case you, I've been really liking iCarly. I've been watching that. I haven't watched the new revival series, which is canceled apparently. Hope they bring that back for like a movie or a new season. But anyway, I know I heard from the first few episodes that it took a while for the revival to, you know, gravitate fans again, you know, find its groove. But this movie felt like, again, we were just right back with Monk. It felt like it was all natural, like Monk has been continuing on this whole time, and I love that, you know, which is really cool to see these characters again. I would totally love to talk about the Monk show in the future more in detail, you know, because I've watched so many episodes and they're so relatable to me. In fact, if anyone else that is autistic watches the show, I'm sure you'll find Monk, Adrian, you know, I interchange between them, Adrian, Monk, you know, I'm sure you'll find him relatable because, like, again, he was the first person that I related to a whole bunch before I even knew I was autistic. I found out about him in middle school, like in 7th grade. This was long before I found out I was autistic, and I'm like, wow, I am a lot like him. Like, obviously not like fully on him, you know, he has OCD. I have like aspects of OCD. I don't thankfully have like the condition of OCD, but I think most autistic people have at least parts of OCD, you know. Autism is like kind of like a amalgamation of like different aspects of depression, OCD, anxiety, all wrapped up together into this thing. So yeah, I really do recommend this movie. It left me and my mom very happy, but also very sad, you know. It just felt nice to watch it with her because it's been a while since we watched something together, you know. Me and my mom used to watch lots of shows together, especially because when I was downstairs and I still had my own room, but I I was mostly sleeping downstairs, and yeah, we used to watch lots of shows, and ever since I moved up here, we haven't been doing that, you know. We still obviously talk, you know, she's my mom, and I love her, but we still talk pretty much often, but, you know, we haven't sat down and watched something together, and this was nice, you know, this was really nice, and I missed it, and, you know, and Monk I also missed, you know, yeah. I don't really know what else to say. I could go into far more detail about the movie, you know, to make this an actual true review, but that's why I say kind of a review. I'm not really good with those things, you know, but I do give this movie a recommendation and the series as a whole a recommendation, you know. It was just so nice to see the characters again, and again, it's like they didn't skip a beat. It's like the show kept going on till now, you know. And I'm glad they did it. They only made a reference to COVID like a few times, and it actually made sense because Monk, you know, it made sense for him to kind of go back to how he was at the start of the Monk series, because of COVID, kind of, because he was doing better when he solved Trudy's case at the end of the series, but he kind of reverted back because of COVID. And you know, sometimes some movies, some of like revivals or revival shows, they like to tackle like real life subjects far too much, and the Monk movie only did it for COVID because it was relevant to Monk as a character. It's all about germs, COVID, and you know, he doesn't like germs, so it made total sense, you know. Plus, they did like a skit thing, about a few years ago when COVID was like pretty rampant. I dare to say, where they reunited the cast, and that was amazing. So, yeah, it does make sense, and yeah, I really like also the fiance of Molly. That was really cool to see, and he kind of reminded me a lot of Monk, and I could see why Molly liked him a lot, and it was sad to see him go. Even though we only knew him for a little bit, it was still sad to see him die. So yeah, I really can't say enough nice things about this movie. Go give it a watch. I loved it so much. It made me cry, but it made me happy too. And it made me want to do this quick video because why the heck not? I don't even know when I'm gonna upload this. Do I upload this like as soon as I'm done making it, or do I upload this sometime tomorrow? I don't know. I guess you'll see when this comes out. So I've been watching a ton of Bluey, and I gotta say, it's becoming one of my favorite shows, like, of all time. And I wanted to talk about why it's, like, really good. So, yeah, let's just get right into it, shall we? So, Bluey, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's an Australian-made show. It airs on Disney Channel. Disney owns the rights, but again, it made on Australia. Follows a blue dog. The blue dog is a girl, by the way, in case you think it's a boy. Usually when I see Blue, I think boy. That's what I thought with Blue from Blue's Clues, but that was a girl too. Anyway, just wanted to inform you, but you've probably seen clips of it, maybe some funny memes, or you've at least heard it talked about. But I have seen some people say, is it really as good as it seems, especially because I've been talking about it a lot on my Discord server, for example, and some people there, you know, they're interested. They're like, is it really that good? And I just want to say, yes, it is. And I want to talk about why. But first, I should talk about the experience I had before watching Bluey. So obviously I knew about Bluey, like, you know, its existence. I knew it was a really recommended show. I even watched like a little bit of not a review, but like kind of like a analysis video on it before I even saw Bluey, and I'm like, okay, it looks fine, you know. It has some interesting stuff, but I thought it was a little bit overhyped, you know. Not to say it was bad, but I just thought maybe people are giving it too much credit. But I have been leaving it on the TV because I stay up really late at, you know, like in the morning. You know, I've been lately going to sleep like at 6. Yesterday I went to sleep at 10 a.m. in the morning, you know, so I stay up in the mornings or very late at night, depending on how you see it. And that's when Bluey airs. And there's usually not that much stuff to watch, you know. There's like stuff I could watch on my phone, but like besides that, I mean, there's nothing else on TV, so I just leave it on Bluey, and I've been watching it because of that, and wow, it is way better than I expected. When I thought it was maybe a little bit overrated, but still fine, you know, from not even watching it, but from actually watching it, I'm like, wow, this is really good. And there's multiple reasons why it's really good. Probably the biggest reason is just the fact that it's a kid show. It's meant for like preschoolers, you know, to teach them life lessons, all that stuff. But a big thing about Bluey is that it doesn't talk down to the audience. It's not like one of those shows like Dora the Explorer, Peppa Pig, where they kind of hand-fitting you the lessons, you know, and they have to explain to you again and again. It's not trying to be super loud, noisy. Bluey is silly, and it is, you know, sometimes a little bit loud, but like in a more, again, it's just more calmer, more understanding with kids. It allows kids to, you know, fully take in these lessons, you know, and treat them like actual people, because that's what kids are. Kids are people. They're just not that mature yet, but they're still people at the end of the day. With some of these shows, like Dora the Explorer, for example, that's like one of the biggest ones where like mocks the audience. I used to watch Dora the Explorer and like these other kids shows, so you know, no shade towards them because I grew up watching them. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. But man, those shows, like, they like, oh, like they make kids seem really dumb. Like, oh, where is the thing? And even the thing is like really obvious, like in the background or something. Bluey is not like that at all. It does, in fact, Bluey is more of a slice of life show. It kind of just follows adventures of Bluey, who's the main character, her sister Bingo, and their parents Bandit, who's the father, and Chili, who is the mother, and they just mostly go about everyday life. Like, they do learn some lessons, you know. Most episodes do have a lesson in them, but it's really like it is kind of brought to the forefront like at the very end. But like it's very naturally shown throughout the episode, like what the lesson is. And you know, sometimes they don't even talk about like, oh, the specific lesson is this, because like, again, it's not hand fed to you. It's basically shown to you as a normal everyday life, and it shows you that these parents are trying to help their kids, you know, understand things better and all that stuff. So yeah, that's one of the biggest things about Bluey, is just the fact that it doesn't talk down to the audience. Now, another thing that makes Bluey so good is its comedy. Its comedy is amazing. It's a really funny show. There's so many memes about it. In fact, you could just search up Bluey memes and you'll find so many things. And that part of it, of why it's so funny, is probably because of this Australianness. You know, it's from Australia. It's not made by Disney. Not to say Disney can't have good shows. I mean, I've liked a couple good Disney shows, Gravity Falls, Owl House, you know. But I mean, there's like a different style of like comedy from Australia, which is really cool to see, like the culture there. But because of that, like those different styles, like the humor is like, I don't know how to explain it right, but the humor is like really good, really funny. And it's, again, this is a similar thing to what I said before. Doesn't talk down to the audience. You don't see, there's like some, I don't know, this is like the only show. This show doesn't make that much, but it does have a few fart jokes. You know, I don't like saying that word. I say pedo because I am a Hispanic, you know. But anyway, I'll just say fart because most of you guys are English. But anyway, this show does have a few of those. Not that many. And this is like the only show I actually like the jokes. They somehow made those jokes funny. Even in shows like Adventure Time, I love Adventure Time, but even sometimes they had like fart jokes, and I'm like, really? Like, I didn't hate it, but I was like, meh, whatever. But Bluey somehow makes it funny, and it's because of the fact that they don't one, they don't lean on it heavily, and two, it's just because of the fact that usually it's the character Bandit doing it. He does it like he blames like one of the girls, or like it's just because of his character. Bandit is a great character. I'll talk more about Bandit in a bit, but like it's mostly because of the character that the jokes are actually funny. I don't hate them, and again, they're not that common unlike other shows, even compared to Adventure Time, which didn't have that many, but when it did, I'm like, really? So yeah, the comedy is probably just the good writing, you know. It just makes it's just a fun time to laugh at. But another thing that I love about the show is just the fact about the characters. I mentioned a bit about Bandit. Bandit is an amazing father figure. Chili's an amazing mother. They both, they go along with the bit, especially Bandit. Like whenever, Bluey and Bingo, they want to play a game, they always commit to the bit. Even if sometimes they don't want to do it because they're busy or something, they still find time to play with their kids. And it's just so wholesome, so adorable to see. And like Bandit is so good. He's a good parent. He is like one of the best, probably the best dad in media, you know. He reminds me a lot of my dad when he was still alive. I see a lot of my dad in him, and it's really crazy, you know, like to see finally some good dads in media, because usually they're not that many good dads in media. So it's nice to see that. And Chili is a great mom as well, you know. She's a little bit more serious compared to Bandit, but she still plays along with the kids, and like she's still a great parent, and like the kids themselves are really good too. They act like kids, but they also act like, you know, people, which again, some media just treats kids as like wild animals, which sometimes you do see that in Bluey, some cases of them being wild animals. Again, they're all dogs. This is kind of plays into the point. You see some characters act more like dogs, at least here and there, but they're still like people at the end of the day. But yeah, it's just the characters, like, you know, Bingo is adorable. Bluey is a really fun character as like the main character. Like, and all the other kids, like their friends or whatever, or their cousins, again, they have different personalities, but they act like, but one, again, like kids, sometimes like wild animals, but still like normal people at the end of the day. I don't know if I'm making sense, really, especially throughout the whole video, but especially in this part. But I just wanted to say that I just do really like Bluey, the characters, the life lessons, how calm it is. Again, there's like, really, like, the show is like, again, it's not that loud, that noisy or whatever, compared to some other kids shows. Especially some other preschool ones, you know, where they're trying to get attention, like Paw Patrol, whatever. It's a more calm, down-to-earth Bluey. You can relax with it, like when you, in fact, I've done it a few times where sometimes I can't because I'm too invested in the show. But if I've seen the episode already, like an episode of Bluey, I just lower the volume on my TV and then just relax to it, because it's just very calm and relaxing. Like, there's just so much to love about Bluey. And let's not even talk about the adult things that happen in Bluey, which is hard to believe that Disney allows a lot of them. Sometimes Disney doesn't allow certain things, but I'll get to that. But like, okay, there's like a funny thing where it's very much implied, and then it was later confirmed by the creator of Bluey, but it was very much implied, again, in like an episode where that Bandit and Chili, you know, their parents of Bluey and Bingo, they are really quote-unquote tired after a New Year's party to play with the kids. And yeah, they were hungover. And it's very much implied, like, heavily in the episode, and I was surprised to see that. It was later confirmed by the creator, but that was the intention, and it's just nice to see, again, like, real situations that parents that some parents fall into be represented in a show. Like it's more mature adult themes, but it's not like something like, oh, it's a sexual joke, ha ha ha, you know, like it's more nuanced than that. Especially the more nuanced one comes in another episode where Chili's sister comes to visit the kids or whatever, and she hasn't seen the kids in like 4 years. So when they were like babies, like really, really young, and the reason she hasn't shown up is because she can't have kids of her own, and it's just so sad. Like it tells, like, again, the way like Chili explains it to Bluey, like, oh, why hasn't she come to visit our aunt or whatever, and like it's just the way Chili and the show itself talks about these problems. Like, again, they don't sidetrack these problems. They do talk about it in a more, you know, healthy thing that, yeah, sometimes, you know, she wants something but she can't have it, you know. And like it's just so emotional. There's like so many other times where like Bluey is like really emotional. Like the show is like, again, you see kids trying and then they give up, but the parents encourage them. Sometimes you see parents, like, you know, they try their best and sometimes it doesn't work. There's even one episode where Bandit needs to make a duck cake. You know, literally what it says is to make a cake in the shape of a duck for Bingo's birthday, and he tries and it looks terrible, and he starts to basically cry because he put all his heart in it, and it didn't work out. But like it's just so, it doesn't shy away from like real people's emotions, you know, not like other kids shows, you know, where they try to teach you stuff, but like, you know, it's hand-fisted. Like, there's just so much to love. I know I'm probably repeating it a lot in this video, but it's just so true. I really do recommend you guys check out Bluey. Another thing I love about the show, real quick, is the continuity. There's a lot of continuity in the show, which I love. I mean, like the latest episode, which was like a 28-minute episode called The Sign, it had a lot of stuff, like plot lines that were brought up from past episodes. One of them being a wedding between Bluey's uncle Rad and her godmother Frisky or whatever, which is crazy because they were introduced. Well, you know, we saw Bluey's uncle Rad before, but we got introduced to Frisky. I might not be saying her name right, but like she's the godmother of Bluey and Bingo. And she came to babysit them when the parents were going to be away. And then Uncle Rad came in as well. So they had to do like a double babysitter thing. And then that's where they met. And then we saw them in some other episodes being, you know, getting closer. Uncle Rad and Frisky or whatever. And then eventually you see them getting married in the Sign episode. And like there's other, you know, callbacks to other episodes or, you know, references. Like there's even an episode that I saw yesterday, which was crazy, about how basically Bandit has to teach Bluey and Bingo the same lesson they already taught them, like in another episode, which is a cool thing because it's brought up in a different way, but it's referenced because it's about like, you know how parents say, oh, do this, brush your teeth, go get this, go do that, you know. Basically there was an episode about that, how the parents say that, and Bandit said that, oh, he says that because he's bigger than them, so the kids make up an imaginary friend, Tina, that's like a big monster that's bigger than Bandit, so Bandit has to listen to Tina, by extension the girls, or whatever. But then Bluey and Bingo learned a lesson about, you know, their parents are trying to do this to help them. But then in this episode that I saw yesterday, it's really funny because Bandit brings up, like, didn't you already learn this lesson? Because there was something about, you know, similar thing about how the parents tell the kids to do something because they do care, they do mean it. And then Bluey especially is like, I don't remember that. They talk really funny, by the way. I love the way the kids talk. It's so adorable. But anyway, and it brings up about what happened with Tina, how Tina basically beat him up. Again, Bandit goes with a bit or whatever to learn the lesson. But the whole point that I'm trying to say is just the fact that this show is so good in multiple different ways, and I really do recommend you guys check it out. If you have Disney Channel, like if you're on cable TV like I am, I know I'm a fossil 19. I recommend you guys check it out. It airs like very often on Disney Channel, Disney Junior. You could also have Disney Plus. It's on there. Of course, I will say there's like some episodes or things that are censored on Disney, compared to Australia, like the official release of the show. Sometimes I feel like it's for the better, to be honest. Like some censored things make more sense, but sometimes it's things like a beginning of the episode where Bandit is trying to work out and like lose some weight. It was like cut off for Disney Channel and Disney Plus or whatever, which is crazy. It still worked. The episode still worked actually pretty well without that beginning part, like the first like minute or two, but it's still weird that they cut it, but usually they don't really censor that much stuff. In fact, I believe they censored more stuff, but they actually uncensored that, so maybe they'll change their minds about some things. But either way, even if you watch the censor things, it's not that bad. I mean, it's still really true to the original, even if it's like a little bit hindered here and there. But I recommend you guys check out Bluey. It's a great show, becoming one of my favorites. I love watching it. I want to discuss something that I have thought about doing for like multiple years before I even started doing YouTube. That being to defend the TV show Ancient Aliens. Now, in case you don't know what Ancient Aliens is, it's basically a History Channel TV show that talks about different theories on how aliens could have visited Earth in the distant past, and they try to find evidence for it, and they also look into the modern day, the future as well, to see if they will return or whatever. And I've seen a lot of criticism throughout the show for multiple years now, and I just never understood it personally. So I kind of just want to defend the show because I think it gets a bad rap. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So I should start by saying I started watching Ancient Aliens when I was starting 4th, 5th grade, because that was like my special interest around the time. If you don't know what a special interest is, it's basically a very intense interest autistic people have, but aliens, space was like my thing at the time, and so I watched Ancient Aliens. I still really care about space and aliens, all that stuff, just not to the same degree I did before, because my main special interest now is like video games. But anyway, go back to the main point. I remember watching marathons a lot on the History Channel, and I used to be big into it for the first couple of years, but then I stopped watching Ancient Aliens, not because I started to follow what other people said. I always never got what people said about it being bad, and there's reasons why people don't like it, and I'll explain why later on. But I didn't stop because of those reasons. I just stopped because I was kind of busy doing other things. I was focusing on girls, playing video games, all that sort of stuff. But lately I've been coming back to watch it now, because on TV there's been like barely anything to watch now. I watched Golden Girls, Criminal Minds I need to catch up on. That TV show is amazing. But like there's some other ones I watch, but like it's only here and there. And so when I'm not looking at YouTube, which is the main thing I'm doing, I want to have TV in the background, either to watch when I'm going to sleep, or, just because I don't want to watch my phone all the damn time. Sometimes I need to charge it, or I just want to be away from my phone. So I found Ancient Aliens again, and I've been really enjoying it for the past few months. I've been watching it again, and it just got me thinking back to, again, the negativity of what people say about the show. So what are the reasons people don't like Ancient Aliens? Well, one thing is because it has alien stuff, and aliens, although they have become a more mainstream popular idea. In fact, because of the show is kind of the reason why aliens is more of an open discussion, but it's still kind of viewed as like a crazy person type thing. If you believe in aliens, you're crazy. You have no evidence at all. And I think that's one of the main reasons as to why. But another one is that when people hear the show described, they think that they're trying to devaluate every single thing that science has said for their arguments. That's not what the show is trying to do. In fact, if you watch the intro to Ancient Aliens, any intro, it always says, what if ancient aliens visited Earth? What if it was true? They are asking a what if question. If aliens did visit Earth in the past, can we look for evidence to support that? They're not saying that all modern science is like trash or whatever. They're just saying there's a possibility that we don't know every single thing about the Earth. We don't know if what science has told us so far is correct, because I know people like to think that science nowadays is set in fact, but really it's not. Science is constantly evolving, constantly changing. This used to happen a lot more in the past, like many years ago, but it still happens, to this day. And they are just proposing the question, what if what we're told about stuff like the pyramids being like, I don't know exactly how old the pyramids are said to be, at like 2,000 years old, something. What if they're actually way older than that and built by someone else, like aliens? Again, they're just asking that question, and I think people don't really get that. They just hear the concept and think, oh, they're trying to discredit all science or whatever. That's not what they're trying to do. Another thing I see, though this one really doesn't make any sense, is that apparently they don't get any information right at all, Ancient Aliens, but that's not really true. Almost all the information they present in the show is factual. For example, they talk about the actual science, what scientists say, but then they talk about, it could have been done by aliens because of this evidence and this evidence, and this thing was found in this place this many years ago. Like, all of it for the most part is factual, but it's just kind of using that facts to bring up a new theory, that being about aliens. Yes, they do get some things wrong here and there, but really they've been around for many years now, 21 seasons or whatever, and I only know they got like 3 things wrong, and those 3 things were not even that major. They were like stuff about like incorrect dates by accident. Like, people make mistakes, shows make mistakes, everything makes mistakes. I think you gotta give them credit that they do have a lot of factual information, and people see those small mistakes they do make and discredit everything. They're like, oh my god, that information is all wrong, they shouldn't be trusted. So yeah, that's another reason why people don't like the show, which kind of sucks, because again, it's not all the show. It's only like a teeny tiny percentage that they get wrong. The rest of it is pretty factual. Now, is the show perfect? No, not by any means. The latest seasons, I don't really care about them too much, especially because they have been kind of retreading old stuff. Like, they're kind of doing like top 10s of the craziest places they visited that have to do with like aliens, like the pyramids, or they do like look backs on the show's past. It's kind of just like stuff that we've already seen in the past of the show, and I don't really care about that, and also there are some moments in the show it's kind of memed about, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but it is a kind of another reason why people don't like it, because it has a lot of repetitive stuff, such as saying ancient alien theorists suggest that blah 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 blah, and then they say ancient alien theorists say yes. Like, I think only 2 times they ever say ancient alien theorists say no, and that's surprising or whatever. But usually they have like these common tropes of saying these things in a certain way, and people make fun of that, and like that's kind of funny, but like I don't really think that's a problem. I just see it kind of more humorous. I just see it like, oh, it's just kind of a fun thing to look at. We're also looking at this information, and I think people don't give credit to Ancient Aliens for a lot of reasons. One, it does have mostly a lot of factual information, just presenting it in a different way. But 2, you learn a lot about specifically ancient cultures. A lot of what the show talks about, different religions, different cultures, discussing stuff like, oh, their beliefs in gods or whatever, and they try to see like, oh, maybe these gods were actually aliens, you know, because according to this book from this religion, this happened with the dragons or something, for example. What if that was this, you know? I like learning about these religions, these cultures, and I think that you should give credit to the show for that. Along with the fact, of course, of what I said at the beginning, where, you know, because of the show, the topic of aliens has become more accepted in society. Not like as much as I would like it to still, but, you know, it's a more open thing, especially in the government stuff. You know, they're a little bit more open talking about aliens, you know, or space stuff, or UFO encounters, putting it out there a little bit more than they used to, like even a few years ago. So I think you should give credit for Ancient Aliens, especially for that, you know? Like, I can't stress the importance of, you know, I love the show, I'm defending it, but, you know, there are some issues with it. Again, there's some kind of unintentionally funny moments that's kind of repetitive at some points, or kind of boring, you know, with the latest seasons, and that they repeat a lot of the same stuff they talked about in the past, but they still do some new content, you know, and the newer stuff too. And that's actually another good thing for loving this show. I forgot to mention, probably another reason why the show, you know, still has some good stuff even nowadays is because it got some actual good people on the show that they interview, that they host for the show, along with the fact that they have been alien researchers for years. One of the people that I love on the show, and it's always so interesting when she talks, is Linda. Oh god, I forgot her last name, but she was like a journalist and a reporter. They have her on the show, and she's been investigating aliens and all that stuff for like years now. She's a well-respected like reporter, you know, and like I think that builds credit into the show. And you know, the people that kind of popularized the show, like Giorgio, is just a great guy. He seems, and honestly, all of them, all the hosts seem like they are interested and do believe in this stuff, you know, and are passionate about it, and I can feel that. At least with a lot of them. I just think there's so much hate for the show, and I just think it should be given more credit for what it's worth. Even though it's not perfect, I think it's far from being bad, you know? There's a lot of good stuff about the show, especially the hosts. The hosts, like the people that talk in the show are really good and very interesting. I can't say enough about the show. You know, I totally recommend checking it out. I believe they have a lot of episodes on YouTube, the History Channel, if you want to check them out. Otherwise, you know, they air on TV constantly. There's also, I think, a history app or something. I just kind of just wanted to ramble and defend a show that I've always held close to my heart for like multiple years now. And, you know, I'm tired of seeing it hated. Well, that's gonna be it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe. Very much means the world to me if you do any of those things. You know, you could also share the video, turn on notifications, become a Patreon, YouTube member, all that sort of stuff. Any support means the world, truly, for me. But yeah, play some Zero Blood, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace. Bye, everyone.